From the $1 bargain bin at the DJC Collectibles Studio, I'm Midwest professional wrestling legend Gage Octane. And now, a guy who can make it through the entire Chicago Toy Show in 20 minutes flat, Kyle Peterson.
What is happening, everybody? Kyle here with my co-host, Angie. Angie, say hello.
Hello.
Angie, hello. And it is back at it for episode number 19 of the Kyle Peterson Show. The Angie Show, as a lot of people do say, of course, as well.
That's what I say.
And we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that here more in a little bit, Angie. Angie just stealing the show and stealing hearts all over the place, as we do know. But this is episode 19. Did you ever think it would be that long?
It feels like we've done more than 19.
I don't know. It feels like we've done 2 episodes to me. But it's been a very busy week since we were here last. Of course, we had to throw away the whole format of the show to celebrate one Ozzy Osbourne. And Angie, we're doing it again here today. Of course, Hulk Hogan passed away. Ozzy, the Hulkster, in the same week. Tough time for pop culture fans, I guess. Music and wrestling. And Ozzy even crossed over in both worlds, as did Hulkster, I guess, a little bit there. But it was a sad week for many out there. Now, I always say this, Angie. I say, celebrate your heroes while they're here. Say how much you like them when they're here, because there's one thing that grinds my gears, and you maybe know this or not, and maybe you feel this. There's so many people that just come out of the woodwork. Oh, Hulk Hogan was my favorite. Oh, I loved Ozzy. I've never heard you mention Ozzy Osbourne in my life. So there's so many of those people, and it always drives me nuts. But, people are the way they are. But to me, my champions, my heroes, I talk about them all the time. I wear them on my sleeves all the time to a nauseum level, right? Just too much, I think, there. So, I don't know. Be more like me, or probably don't be more like me there.
Or don't.
or don't. But we'll talk a lot about Hulk Hogan here in this episode today. But Angie, how are you?
I'm good. I feel like I never got back in the swing of things. I'm still off.
I am totally off from being in San Diego, then flying to Chicago, going to the K-pop show, going to Pequods. I will implore you all to check out, of course, the YouTube channel with all the different videos. I got San Diego Comic-Con coverage there. I got San Diego Comic-Con recap stuff. I got toy hunts. We got our time at the K-pop, Pequods, AEW show. There was a lot going on, and there was no rest for the wicked here, Ozzy Osbourne style. I slept about 12 hours in 4 days. I was absolutely exhausted by the time everything was said and done. Even woke up late from the hotel.
You looked you needed to concealer.
But you said I was looking good. Yeah. You said, oh my gosh, I missed you so much. Oh, I missed you so much.
Oh, God.
Oh, you were so nice to me on the return. But we had quite the time there. Came together in more ways than one. No. We came back together in Chicago and had the drive home and all that. And then I just felt like a zombie all week long here. I just was doing a toy hunt a little bit ago. And I feel so out of place of my stores, and it's going to take a while to get back into the swing of things. But shout out to everybody I saw at San Diego Comic-Con, everybody that took the time to say hi to me, grabbed a picture, whatever. And Angie, you'll be happy to know that I had, I think, 4 people come up to me and say, "Where's Angie? Where's your wife? Is she here?" So you were thought of. You were thought of. Look at her. She's so full of herself. But you were well thought of there, and you probably should have been there. But maybe another time. But every year I say, I'm done with San Diego. I'm done with the Comic-Con. We'll see if we end up doing it that time here. But it was very, very busy. But Angie, you were thought of out there. So that has to mean something.
Mostly by you.
Yeah, mostly by me. Yes, that's for sure. But Angie, you come back and the whole house is falling apart, as we do know. What do we have? The washer and dryer on the fritz. And it makes sense they'd both go out because they get the identical same amount of use. We're not taking it out there on the clothing line or anything like that. So those are both on the fritz. It's taken, 4 times to get through the dryer cycle?
Well, the main problem is the spin cycle is not working properly on the washing machine. So the clothes are coming out drippy, and then I'm putting them in the dryer, and they're taking 10 cycles to dry, which is probably rusting the barrel in there.
We got so many clothes in this. We got so many clothes in this house. We should just wear it like our shirt once or twice until they're dirty, and then just throw them away. And
it took me 5 hours to drag comforter.
So gonna have to pony up the, I don't know, what is it, $1,000, $1,200, something like that, to get a washer and dryer. But on top of that, the garage door is a hot mess. I think the door needs replaced. It's an old door, but obviously it's the lifters and the whole mechanism that needs replaced. So you got to probably just do it all at once, get it over with, get a nice garage door there. The AC has an issue going on. I don't know. It's drips in the furnace room. I don't know what's going on. My cat's lair, thankfully it's plastic, but it had all this water dripped on it. It was horrible. Now it's covered in a towel. Had that issue.
It's not dehumidifying properly. It's supposed to do that. So the humidity level in the house was like 80%.
And it's been absolutely crazy as far as humidity goes here. It's been like 100 degrees and stuff. It's been raining like crazy. And then we came back from Chicago and it showed like critical failure on the AC unit thing. So we had to reset the whole thing. So how many days was it like out of commission? Just an absolute disaster going on right there. And then there's a leak in the roof in the kitchen here. I don't know if it's the roof or if it's the kids. Who knows? Those kids like to just, not close the shower curtain, get water all over the floor. I don't know if that's the issue. So we got to track that whole thing down.
Their bathroom's directly above it.
I just feel like money's just flying out. It's just flying out.
Well, really, you haven't spent any of it yet.
Oh, I know. And that's the problem. I spent enough at San Diego Comic-Con. You spent enough at the K-pop concerts.
And my trip.
Oh, and your trip
I haven't gotten my credit card for that.
Oh, I don't want to see that bill. It's just, I will never financially recover.
Oh, and your TV.
Oh, and then my TV in the basement's on the fritz, too. It's having all kinds of issues where the apps aren't working. This is just, it's all falling apart. It's all
I need to put
my
feet on the internet.
You need to put more than your feet on the internet. I think we need to start doing something, Angie. We gotta figure something out.
Selling some molds or something.
We're going to have some molds. I think some people would want to pick that up. I don't know. We'll have to figure something out, Angie. We're going to have to get you out there. Out there
Strike while the iron's hot. That's what they said.
Selling your wares to try to pay for this washer and dryer and everything else going on. Oh my gosh, we'll never financially cover. But thankfully, we got a great sponsor of the channel here that we get a discount code that helps make some of this action figure paint a little bit cheaper. It is DJC Collectibles, the sponsor of the Kyle Peterson Show, and use code 8OFFDJC to save 8% off your entire order. And if you're watching weekly purchases a couple of days ago, depending when you watch this, of course, Patreon members get first crack. You're going to see a lot of stuff from DJC through the door this week. So shout out to DJC Collectibles sponsoring the channel. And I did mention Patreon. It is a new month of August here for Patreon. Angie's feet videos are up there in spades, of course. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe one day. Who knows? But we do got a giveaway this month. It is Heavy Duty G.I. Joe Classified Series. This is the August giveaway over there on the Patreon. Of course, Patreon, you get early access to both my YouTube channels, glamour shots to everything, the monthly giveaway, a monthly Q&A, and then, of course, everything else under the sun, including this podcast, usually like 4 or 5 days earlier, if that is your thing as well. And best of all, it is your best way to support the channel. And let me tell you, Angie and I need it. Oh, my gosh. Let's get on our hands and knees and beg. Any of you guys garage doorsmen out there, maybe we can get a discount, we can work something? Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. But a lot going on right there. And there was a lot going on as well as I was in San Diego Comic-Con, Angie. And I don't know if you saw this on my Facebook. I reposted this, and I was a little bit perturbed by this because Angie was gone, 3 weeks ago now or something like that, and we had a special guest co-host. It was one Midwest professional wrestling legend, Gage Octane. And I said, Mr. Octane, once and for all, are we done? Are we finally retired? And he's like, yeah, I think I'm retired. I think
I think he said never say never.
Never say never. He did say that. But then
he heavily implied yes.
But then literally a week later, the announcement comes back. Bridge City Slam, Central Empire Wrestling, Ottumwa, Iowa, September 6th is the return of Midwest professional wrestling legend Gage Octane. He's coming back to the ring. I immediately sent him a text and I said, what is this all about? And he said, oh man, they padded the lope, brother. And that's all it took. So he is coming back to the ring. And I said, we need to have one last run and we need to document this for my YouTube channel. We got to get him in shape for the comeback. We got to get those reps in. We got to have the footage of driving, probably hitting some toy stores along the way. And then, of course, culminating in the big matchup, of course. So we'll see where that ends up going with old Midwest professional wrestling legend Gage Octane. But he's back in the saddle again like a young Aerosmith. Just like that. Didn't take him long to come out of retirement.
He's also striking while the iron's hot.
Striking while the iron's hot, I guess, is what's going on right there. But we're going to get into Hulk Hogan's death here in this podcast a little bit. A lot of people have said, Kyle, you need to do a tribute to the Hulkster. But like I said, celebrate your heroes when they're here. Hulk Hogan was never my hero. I think people forget that. I was never a Hulkamaniac guy like Angie was. Angie was hulking up, brother, all the time. Wanted to check out the thermos, of course. But We will talk about that. I will talk about my complicated relationship with Hulk Hogan in multiple segments of this very episode right here. But before we get to the Hulkster, we got to talk about one Ryne Sandberg passed away from the Chicago Cubs. Now, as a kid, I wasn't a Cubs fan. I was an A's fan. But I grew to like the Cubs because WGN would show the Cubs every single day on TV, obviously. And I would always tune into WGN, for the Bozo Show, G.I. Joe, Transformers, things like that. And they were always preempted by the Cubs games in the summer. And I'd get all worked up, but then I'd say, okay, I'll just watch the Cubs, I guess. And Ryne Sandberg was a huge part of that. Of course, Ryne Sandberg being around the Midwest a lot, trading card conventions, things like that. I've seen him around many times. Last time I was with Ryne Sandberg was about 2 years ago, I want to say it was, up in South Dakota. I was at a work function event and had dinner with Ryne Sandberg up there. It was very strange, though. I didn't come away with warm, fuzzy feelings with Ryne Sandberg, not to talk ill of the dead, but he wouldn't take pictures with anyone. He wouldn't take a picture with anyone. No pictures with him, which I don't know why that was such a big deal to him. I mean, he'd autograph everything you wanted and anything you wanted, but didn't want pictures with anybody. So that was a little strange, I did think. So, and it was a charity function. Yeah, it's usually the other way around. Yeah. So it was very strange. And I was like, oh, he's not doing, I don't want an autograph. I was just going to grab a picture with him, and is what it is. But it is sad to see old Rhino die. And, it's a weird name, Ryne Sandberg. I've never met another Ryan in my life.
I didn't even know how it was pronounced.
Most people say Ryan Sandberg.
Doesn't it start with an A?
R-Y-N-E.
Oh, that's what's flipped about it.
It's a weird one. I've never seen or heard anyone since then. So shout out to him for having an original name there. But I do got one grinds my gears thing, and I don't think I told you this story. But good friend of the channel, Jeff George, and I were at San Diego Comic-Con. We were making panels, making booths, making towns, making tours, making dinners, making breakfast, making all these kind of things going on. And we did go to the Mondo panel there. And the Mondo guys, shout out to all those guys, Cameron, Nolan, Attack Peter, of course, Hector, all your friends as well. All your friends as well. But shout out to those guys. Spent some good times with the Mondo guys, of course. Jeff and the Mondo guys were getting hammered at the Toy YouTubers Unite thing. Well, I was up there presenting. They were chatting away. But shout out to those Mondo guys for the Mondo panel. Unfortunately, they ran out of time at the end of their panel, and they were doing some giveaways at the end. I really would have liked to win the prototype Werewolf by Night. That would have been awesome in my collection. Didn't win it, but they started giving stuff out. And this really grinded my gears and made me so angry. I don't know why this made me so angry. But we were right up there in the front row watching these guys do their thing, listening to the panel and all this stuff. But there was this big fat lady there. Nothing against fat ladies, except this one, of course. But this big
she grabbing everything?
So she was taking up 2 seats, and it gets tight in these panel things. And we were going to scoot over to be a little bit closer just to make room for everybody. She's like, nope, the seat's for my husband. It's for my husband. And guess what? We go through the whole panel. Husband never showed up. We never saw a husband. And she'd apparently been camping out at these panels all day long. And she kept talking about how she wanted free stuff. And she had a million wires coming out of her to charge her phones and electronic devices. She had this little cooler with her full of stuff. I mean, it was just annoying. She was setting up base camp here all over the place and right up front. And she was taking up all this room. And then they came around with these little tickets, tickets. And everybody that got a ticket, you got something free. It ended up being just a Mondo poster. But she's like, no, I need 2 tickets for my husband and all this. But she was basically taking advantage of everything. And it's just what is going on here? What is this lady doing? Super, super annoying. But then they started doing giveaways here. And to do the giveaways, you had to get up and go to the microphone and ask a question. Well, of course, everybody ran up there. Well, she wasn't running anywhere. I can tell you that much there. And she's like, I have a question. And obviously no microphone or anything. And the whole time, I had a question. And they had one item left at the end to give away. And it was Scaremare, the Mondo Scaremare Masters of the Universe, a $500 massive, you see it in there. It's the glow in the dark. Massive, an amazing, amazing thing. And a good friend of the channel, Attack Peter there, just said, you want it? Okay, here you go. Take this. Because she was so annoying. He gave her this. And I was just ready to flip over tables and everything. I was like, this lady is so annoying. The whole show ruins everything at this Mondo panel. And they rewarded her with Scaremare, which is it could be $700, $800. It's long sold out. This could be $1,000 they just gave her for just being annoying. And you know what? She got up, picked it up. This isn't what I wanted. I didn't want this.
Oh my God.
And I'm just I was just livid. I almost punched her in the face. I was so worked up. It was so annoying. You don't even know what you got. You know how many people would kill for something like that? Now, the joke was on her a little bit because she had, like I said, she was camped out, had all this kind of stuff. How's she going to lug this big thing around? I mean, it's literally this big. It's a huge, huge box. Mm-hmm. But I was just I would have killed to have something like that. It would have cost me $150 to mail it home. But I was like, that is a huge, huge gift. And she's like, oh, I didn't even want that. Like, I think she wanted like a record. They had records up there too, like pressings of records, which obviously easier to carry around, but she didn't even know what she got, but she was so annoying. And like, I was so worked up about this lady, just ruining my whole panel experience there with Mondo. And then I just hated that they rewarded her with that, but it is what it is. What do you do there? But
she had enough weight to carry around, apparently.
Oh, she's just annoying. But yeah, it was extra annoying there. I was not having any of it. But there it is, Angie. That is the beginning. That is the housekeeping. Now we got some more stuff to get to. It's time for a deeper dive. All right, Angie, it's time for a deeper dive where we go a little bit deeper into Angie and her thought processes as a woman. Angie, what do you want to talk about here today? You said you had something you wanted to really get off your chest. No? I'm stupid. I'm just making that up. No, of course, Angie, we're going to celebrate the Hulkster. We're going to celebrate Hulkamania a little bit here. And once again, I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. I'm a broken record. I've said it in many of my reviews. I was never a Hulkamaniac. I would respect the Hulkster. I understand what the Hulkster did for the business. There would not be wrestling like it is today. There wouldn't be the action figures like there is today without Hulk Hogan. We all have to understand that. He swept a nation. He transcended wrestling into pop culture, movies, etc. Hulk Hogan was a big deal. I'll never deny that, but I was not a Hulk Hogan guy. I was Team Bobby the Brain Heenan, who said this Hulkster's no good, and I got that from the middle of my childhood, right at the beginning there. Now, the first time I ever remember seeing Hulk Hogan was WrestleMania 3. The summer after that is when I became a wrestling fan. Somewhere around probably end of July, early August, right about back to school time. Some of my buddies were talking about it. I was like, oh, I better check this out. The old playground. We know how it went back in the day. And I remember watching wrestling, and I wasn't blown away by Hulk Hogan. I was actually more impressed by Andre the Giant because he's so big and stuff. But Hulk Hogan was around that time obviously huge, massive, as we do know. But he was all over the place, promotion stuff. And it's like one of those things where it's like he's so popular, I almost tune out. And I think I'm that way in a lot of things in life where I kind of like my own little world. And, you know, I like the distant members, like The Who, the band The Who. I like John and Twistle. I don't like Pete Townsend and Daltrey. The Beatles, I like them all. But George Harrison, far by way, is my favorite member of the Beatles. So I'm always kind of like that way. Did I say Mike Nesmith of the Monkees? Another one. He's not the leader, but I always kind of like that performer, the dark horse in there. So I didn't resonate with Hulk Hogan, especially because everybody on the playground just absolutely loved the Hulkster. I'm like, you guys can have your Hulkamania because Warrior Mania came to me shortly after that. And that's where I went. And of course, Powers of Pain, Demolition, the Road Warriors. That is what I gravitated to because I just always had dreamed of wearing face paint, as we can imagine. So, love it. But I respected the Hulkster, but I came into it after WrestleMania 3. And I remember like some of my earliest memories are the build-ups to, of course, WrestleMania 4 and the big tournament and all that. I remember being excited for that as a kid. And of course, the rematch with Andre. But then WrestleMania 5 is where I really got into the fandom a lot more there. And of course, that was the Mega Powers and the whole lead up to the breakup and Elizabeth and all that. That's probably my favorite era of Hulk Hogan, my favorite memories of Hulk Hogan around that time. I was Team Macho for that, of course. I think Hulkster, he had lust in his eyes. He had lust in his eyes for Miss Elizabeth, and Macho Man knew it, and I did as well. He was way too handsy with Liz, and that caused the Mega Powers to break up once upon a time. Obviously, WrestleMania 6 is going to be the most famous Hulk Hogan match for me. It's my favorite match of all time, The Ultimate Warrior. Just absolutely amazing. I still remember everything about that day that led up to it. I remember being so nervous, so excited. I remember my parents telling me to cool my jets when the Hulkster or when the Warrior won. I was just losing my mind because everyone, and I told that story a million times, everyone told me that Hulk Hogan was going to win. No, it's not going to happen. I said, he's going to lose. The Ultimate Warrior is going to do this. Even my parents were against me. And then when the Warrior won, oh my gosh, I was celebrating like you wouldn't believe.
You walking into school the next day.
And that's what it was. And I told you, I told you, I told you. It was a whole thing. I laid it in everybody's face. And the defeatment, the tears of the Hulksters. I would grab it. Your tears taste so good. I was like a young Eric Cartman is what I was. I was loving all that. But there's obviously a lot of good. If you're a wrestling fan, a longtime wrestling fan, Hulkster might not have been your favorite, but you got a lot of memories over the years of the Hulkster and what he did or what he was around or in the vicinity of or whatever. The most famous match I saw Hulk Hogan wrestle numerous times. a lot of dark match main events and stuff. I was in attendance for Saturday night's main event with him and Bossman in the cage with Zeus came out. That was a big, big deal. Of course, as a little kid, I was rooting on that big Bossman. I was looking for some hard times in that cage. Didn't happen. Demolition and the Brainbusters were on that card too. That was a good one. I saw the Hulkster probably more than ever when he was a member of the NWO. Saw many a Nitros over the years of him as a member of the NWO and stuff like that. So obviously around the Hulkster many, many times, many different shows, be it WCW, be it WWE, WWF over the years. So you can't help be a wrestling fan and not be in his vicinity somewhere along the way if he was your favorite or not. But like I said, I'm not going to sit here and tell everybody that, oh, the Hulkster, I love him. And I'm going to tell later on in this video my meetings of Hulk Hogan where we finally did touch base together and had an interaction. So we'll tell that story here later. But do you have any memories of the first time you saw Hulk Hogan? You probably don't have any of that. You're a girl.
No, I just remember not liking the black and blonde beard.
Oh, so the NWO days. So you would have been early though. You wouldn't even been a teenager when he did that, but and that I guess it worked. He was supposed to be a bad guy, so that made him more of a bad guy. So that worked for you, but
made him look dirty.
Yeah, and he was a little dirty. But I don't even think you ever saw Hulk Hogan live in person. I wouldn't imagine. I don't think we ever went to a wrestling show. He was there. I don't think by the time we had met, he was pretty much long gone out of the ring and stuff. So. No real Hulkster memories for you then? Mm-mm. Did you cry when he died?
No.
Were you shocked?
Kinda.
You said, oh, the Hulkster.
I didn't know that he...
it hits hard because he's about the same age as my dad.
Yeah.
So you kind of think in those lines, like, oh, man, my dad's getting long in the tooth. Nah, my dad will live forever. He'll outlive me probably. We'll see. But the Hulkster, it was a shocker nonetheless, but there have been a lot of rumors for a while that the Hulkster was in dire needs, dire straits, and like a young Mark Knopfler. Did you get that one? Mm-mm. No, she didn't. Right over her head, but I know you did out there. I see you sitting back there. But yeah, the Hulkster was in dire straits, and a lot of people denying it and stuff, but obviously it did come true. So hard times for the Hulkster. Hate to hear anybody passing away. I mean, 70s seemed old, but now as you get closer to 70, it doesn't seem that old. Mm-mm. It's one of those weird things. So rest in peace, Hulkamania.
Take care of your heart.
Take care of your heart. Train, say your vitamins, all that kind of
stuff.
Don't do steroids. Don't drink alcohol. I don't know what the Hulkster was up to, but hard times, really hard times there. And I know a lot of wrestling fans out there, this is like, the end of the road. It's a very, very sad day. And I definitely understand that, being a Warrior guy, being a Lemmy guy. I understand it when our heroes pass away. So I don't know what you do.
You broke a little bit.
I broke up a little bit.
You're thinking about Warrior.
Cut. Hard times.
Oh my God.
Hard times.
Did you cry when the Warrior died?
No, I was too shocked. I was too stunned and shocked.
That was crazy because he had just been on TV.
And I remember I fell asleep on the couch that night the Ultimate Warrior died, and I was awoken by like a text message or something, and I was totally disoriented. It was like, I don't remember. I remember it just being weird. But I remember for some reason I used to fall asleep on the couch a lot back in the day. And it doesn't happen as much. But it's funny, and it happened actually last night for me. So that's kind of weird. I woke up and it was like 12:30 in the morning. I was like, I better go up to bed. And Angie was just, wait, where have you been? I've been waiting for you. You said, I've been waiting for you. And I said, well, I'm here now. But anyways, that's a deeper dive, a little bit of Hulk Hogan. I sympathize with everybody out there for their loss. And Hulk Hogan, a complicated individual. I should mention at San Diego Comic-Con, it was strange to me. Like, once again, I'm not a Hulkster guy, but literally the news broke, and we had the Mattel panel an hour after the news broke, and obviously they had to say something about Hulk Hogan because of, how big it was. Mm-hmm. And a bunch of people booed, like, were booing their minds out, like drowning. But I'm just like, man, I get it. I understand why, but at the same time, like, can we give it 24 hours? Yeah. Can we give it 24 hours? But it's amazing, his whole life and all like the Make-A-Wish stuff and all the stuff he's done for charity all kind of washed away just like that. So, I don't know. R.I.P. Hulkster. There you go.
I don't even know why people...
There you go, brother.
Were you going to talk about when you met him?
Yeah, we'll get into that later on. So, there is...
You just forget a whole chunk.
Yep, forgot. Nope. There is a deeper dive. Angie, now it's time for Figure of the Week. All right, Angie, it's time for Figure of the Week. Your favorite segment of the show, would you say?
It's me.
It is you. And let's see that figure. Whip those out. We need the ratings. Let's get those going there. But it is time for figure of the week here, and these are.
I wonder if it's going to be a Hogan figure.
And we're going to celebrate the Hulkster here. Is what we're going to do. And the figure of the week is an interesting one. Is at San Diego Comic-Con, they just announced the re-release of this figure, and I would say it was up at San Diego Comic-Con, then shelved, and then on Monday after San Diego Comic-Con, they did put this one up for sale over there at Target.
Is that the pre-order I missed?
Pre-order that Angie missed, unfortunately, but I'm not too concerned about it. I'm sure it'll be in the stores like crazy. But it is LJN Hulk Hogan as the figure of the week right here. And I would say, if you guys are watching my YouTube channel, and if you're not, what are you doing? I am doing the Mount Rushmore of action figures this week as my top 4 list, I guess, this week. And obviously this is on there. And I did film that about a month ago, trying to get ahead for San Diego Comic-Con. So I had to do a little cut in. Hey, FYI, this was filmed before Hulk Hogan passed away. But this is easily the most famous wrestling figure of all time. This started a whole generation of collectors, wrestling fans. And as a kid on the old playground, once again, every single kid had this figure. Every single one. However, young Kyle, this is probably like the 15th, 16th LJN figure I bought. I was like, I don't need Hulkster. I don't need him.
It's funny. You're probably the only one that still has it now.
No,
none of them probably have it.
I'm sure
anymore.
none of the friends when I was a kid have it, but it is a famous one. And even kids that didn't like wrestling, you know, their aunt and uncles would buy this for them just to have because, oh, Hulk Hogan, they need this. So many kids had this. And then there was those crazy kids on the playground. I don't know if you had crazy kids on your playground.
Everybody
back
does.
in the day. But they used to throw these up in the air as high as they could on like the blacktop and see how far they could bounce. I was like, you guys are animals. You guys are maniacs.
You knew then.
I was like, I don't want these guys to get all destroyed and scuffed up and all that kind of stuff. And these kids were just animals. They didn't care. They had all scuffed paint and everything else. But this is being re-released. Weird timing. They announced that this was going to be the day the Hulkster did pass away. It's just a weird coincidence. And some people say it's just a convergence. Not a coincidence.
Is the sizing the same? Because the
Size.
package online looks small.
Everything's the same. Packaging,
weird.
everything. Now, I am thankful that they did do a tan, a Hulkster tan on it to make it a little bit different. However, I would have liked to seen different posing. That's my biggest gripe, and some people are coming at me, Angie. Some of the haters are coming after me on this one. But you know what? It's my opinion. I don't come after you for your opinion, and it's wrong. Your opinion's wrong. Mine's not. So, but I do think I'm all for the re-releases. I get it, but I think if you would have put the biceps in a little bit tighter, you would have done a little different pose, I don't think it would have stopped any of the sales. It would have appeased everybody. I don't think that would have been that big a deal. Instead, they're doing basically a straight re-release of a pose. Give it a little bit different pose. Give it a more iconic pose. Give it the old Hulkster brother pose. Give it something like that. Or the classic pose. I would have liked to see something like that in this gear. Is what it is, but there's no denying this is the most famous wrestling figure of all time. Say what you want about it or not. However, to me, my favorite Hulk Hogan for the LJN days was this one. This one blew me away. I had this one as a kid. I don't know. I just like the playability of this one a heck of a lot more. Those big old Hulkster punches ready to go. Body slams. I just felt like I could do a lot more with this one as a kid. And I absolutely love this one. So this one, far and away, is my favorite LJN Hulk Hogan. But then in a plot twist, many, many years later, the internet came to be about. Do you remember when you first got the internet, how old you were? 1995 for me. I'll never forget. It just blew my mind, this internet thing.
Like I said, put a shirt on, Hulk.
Yeah, and well, then this came about when I got the internet. I didn't even know this was a real thing, and then I saw this, like a lot of other wrestling figures that never came to my area, didn't know they existed. So I was blown away to find out my beloved white and red, there was also a red and yellow. Now, I still prefer this one, but I found this to be very interesting to find out about this one later on. But the Hulkster pumping out those LJN figures, and I guess some things never change with the upcoming fall release over at Target of the LJN Hulk Hogan. So interesting circumstances around the Hulkster. Yep. And I'm guessing you never had any of these.
No.
Why would you? Why would you? She's a girl after all. There you go. But that is it, Angie. That is the figure of the week, LJN Hulk Hogan. But now we're going to continue the tribute. We're going to the album of the week. All right, Angie, the Hulkster tribute continues. You said, no, we got to do more Hulkster tributes. We got to do more Hulkster tributes. We're going to talk about the times at the Mall of America at Pastamania with Hulk Hogan. No, we're not actually, but I never did get to eat at Pastamania. I went by there many times back in the day, but we're doing album of the week now, and this is a weird one here. And I was listening to this a lot, and I was listening to it as more of a comedy album than an actual book on CD at the time. It was the Hulk Hogan audiobook. Now, shortly before we met, I was rocking this one, and I would be driving or something, but I would be listening to this all the time. I found the Hulk Hogan audiobook to be absolutely hilarious because Hulkster read his book and obviously read it in the Hulkster voice. And it was so crazy to hear, brother, I did this. And it was just like
this autobiography?
Yeah, it was, he read his autobiography, but obviously read it in the Hulkster voice. Full on gimmick voice the whole time. It was over the top hilarious. It is worth checking out. It's probably on YouTube. Maybe it's on Amazon or something. But whether or not you like the Hulkster or not, it is just hilarious. Him describing these stories and reading this book in the Hulkster voice. It was more of a comedy album than it was actually a audio book you're taking seriously. But I used to just put that on. It would just make me just chuckle with laughter, and I'd be bellied over the couch, just laughing my head off. Do you remember this at all, vaguely?
Not really.
I used to listen to it all the time. I want to say it came out in like 2004 or something. And I remember I got it at like a Half Price Books or something, like a penny sale or something. I was like, oh, I got to get this. This has got to be funny. And it held up. It was really good. So if you've never checked that out, I strongly recommend, just for the laughter of that, to listen to that Hulk Hogan audiobook. And I guess you'll learn about the Hulkster's life along the way. So that's what autobiography is for right there. So album of the week, I guess with quotation marks, is going to be the book on CD at the time, Hulk Hogan's autobiography. But now we're going to keep the Hulkster train going on. We're going to go to Rate It or Hate It, No Holds Barred. All right, Angie, it's time for Rate It or Hate It, but this one I just kind of sprung on you. It's not the only thing I sprung on you today, but I've sprung in a lot of things.
You sprung the segment on me. I barely got sat down before you started.
Barely, but Angie, today we're going to rate it or hate it with No Holds Barred. Have you ever seen this movie with Hulk Hogan and Zeus?
I don't think
Kurt
so.
Fuller? Well, you're not going to be able to rate it then, unfortunately, but this was Hulk Hogan's, I want to say, first movie, his first leading movie. Of course, he was in the Rocky movie. We all know that along the way. That's really what catapulted Hulkamania, as we know. Him versus Rocky, Sylvester Stallone. But No Holds Barred came along in the late 80s. It was 88, probably, No Holds Barred. Now, once again, I was not a Hulkamaniac. However, Hulk Hogan, a wrestling movie. I don't care who was wrestling. I was into wrestling as a little kid. So No Holds Barred was right up my alley. And I talked about going to Hulk Hogan versus Big Boss Man in the cage. Zeus coming over there. Zeus went from the movie into the actual WWF at the time. A wild transition. And I was eating it up. I was here for it. It was an interesting time. It'd be interesting to look back on it with my age now. But when you're in the thick of things, you're like, wow, this is cool. It's from the movie. It's going in here. And, of course, the movie was amazing. Say what you want. Hulk Hogan, terrible wrestler, wonderful actor. Oh. Wonderful actor. At least in that one he was. And I enjoyed his performance as Rip in that. But I liked some of the Hulk Hogan stuff. Like Thunder in Paradise is probably my favorite Hulk Hogan stuff. It was kind of like Baywatch type thing, action adventure, 90s syndication. It was great. You've never even heard of it, I'm guessing.
No.
Nope. Have you ever seen Mr. Nanny or Suburban Commando or Three Ninjas, High Noon Mountain or something? All these. Have you ever seen a Hulk Hogan movie?
I don't think so.
Yeah, so he wasn't in the best movies, of course. Unlike that Roddy Piper, who was in some amazing movies, as we know. But it was interesting, No Holds Barred. I like the wrestling aspect of it. I like the whole story of it. Of course, you're a little kid. He's, trying to make amends for his brother that Zeus basically ripped apart. And then I remember for the first time ever in my life seeing Stan the Lariat Hansen, who was in that movie. Once again, Angie's like, who's that? But I used to see him in all the PWI magazines I would get as a little kid. So I'd always see him in that, but I never got to see him. I never got to see him actually in the ring until he went to WCW, feuded with Lex Luger, U.S. title, all that time frame there. So to see him in that movie, I thought was really cool. And then finding out years later, Demolition Axe was in the movie. So some of that kind of stuff coming together. But all in all, I enjoyed the movie. Once again, not being a Hulk Hogan fan, I thought the movie was amazing for little Kyle. There was an anniversary, I don't remember what anniversary it was, where it got re-released. I said, I haven't seen this in a million years. I should see it again. And I still enjoyed the movie. So not going to be for everybody. You got to put yourself in that time frame of those 80s. It's almost like those canon movies from the 80s. Once again, it's going right over your head, Angie. It's going right over your head. But you're playing along.
I know the feeling when you watch an old movie and it just didn't hit like when
it doesn't hit. But this one does. It's just a moment in time. And I always enjoyed it and still enjoy it to this day. And it's worth checking out if you've never seen it. I know a lot of people have never seen No Holds Barred. I strongly recommend it. And on a 5 scale, Little Kyle puts that at a 5 out of 5, but I'll dial it back to a 4 out of 5 now. But it's not a cinematic masterpiece, of course.
Nothing Disney watch, really.
No, like Devil's Rejects, of course, cinematic masterpiece. But it is worth checking out at least once if you have not. And I guess now's a good time to do it in celebration of the Hulkster's life. Check out No Holds Barred. See him and Zeus square off as Rip Brother. He's going to rip him. We know how it's going to go. So there it is. Rate it or hate it. No Holds Barred. But now, before we get to story time with Kyle, Angie, let's take a little break. Let's have Angie shine. It's time.
Have a snack.
Yes, it's time to try new foods because they might taste good.
Try a little bit of this and a little bit of that. A little bit of this and a little bit of that. We gotta try new food because they might taste good.
All right, Angie, it's time to try new foods because they might taste good. And Angie, you got something good for us. You got something extra tasty. I don't know why I'm doing this, but we do.
There's two.
There's two. There is two things. Do they both start with the Z?
Oh, do they?
Oh, it's the Z party.
You say Zagnut?
Zagnut bar. We found that in Peru, Illinois.
And we got a whole
And we got a zero. So
and
we've
made it home without melting.
Yep. We've been threatening to try this zero bar. Now, neither of these are new foods. I think the Zagnut's been around since like my parents were kids or something like that. However, it looked interesting. We were in the checkout at a Walmart. I think it was Peru, Illinois. Oh, shout out to Peru. Beautiful. This time of year, of course. But we saw it, and it kind of looks like a Fifth Avenue. So we said, oh, let's try this Zagnut. And then, of course, we saw the Zero Bar there. Now, we've talked about the Zero Bar on the channel before that neither of us ever had this. It's a weird bar that you see around, but you don't see it around like a Snickers or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks very interesting. We're going to give it our honest opinion here, but we're double dosing on the candy bar here today.
Ooh.
How many bars can you put down? Oh, we're going to lay the bar down. So which one do we start?
Each one.
I think we start with the Zagnut because we go in alphabetical order. So ZA compared to ZE, that leads to Zagnut first.
Joking, but
200 calories per bar, crunchy peanut butter candy coated in toasted coconut.
Coconut's not really my thing.
She's not a coconut. You're a white cream girl.
Oh my god!
Right?
That's why I like the Zero Bar.
That's why she's gonna like the Zero, of course. But crunchy peanut butter is right up my alley, right there.
So I feel like the texture is going to be Fifth Avenue.
And it is a skinny bar, and you like them thick, like a thermos.
Not really.
No, you like them small and skinny. Yeah. I thought you liked them thick, like a thermos. That's what you always told me.
Oh my god!
And we're gonna break it in half, I guess.
No, that's plenty for me. That's perfect.
You said never. It smells like a Butterfinger Fifth Avenue.
It's crumbling. Hold on.
She's diving in. Look at her go.
I'm not going to bite it, though. I won't chew it till you're ready.
All right, ready to go?
Yep.
Let's do it. Cheers.
Oh, yeah, very Fifth Avenue inside. Doesn't taste coconutty. It's good. Oh, yeah, I wanted to try this. We got to save a little.
Zagnut's a winner, if you ask me.
Zagnut, get in my mouth.
That's not the only thing. Yeah, it's good.
Delicious. It doesn't taste coconutty, so if you don't like coconut...
I taste the coconut now.
But it's so subtle.
Mm-hmm.
The peanut butter really overpowers it, so don't be scared to try if you don't like coconut.
Peanut butter and coconut's a weird combination. So you give the rest to L, or am I giving this to L? Or do we give none to L? That's what we do. We trick her.
We ought to save a little bit for both the kids.
Are these kids?
We do have 2 children.
We do? I never see them. They're always sleeping.
They're both awake. It's a miracle.
So the Zagnut, not so bad, even though it left a mess on my table here. I don't like that at all. We'll get it into a little pile. But what are you going to rate this Zagnut out of 5? It tasted like a Butterfinger Fifth Avenue combination. A little bit soft on the bite. A little crunch on the outside. A lot of the bites I had, though, it was very hard on the inside. It's kind of like a Butterfinger. Sometimes you get a soft Butterfinger. Sometimes you get a hard Butterfinger. I had more hard pieces than soft in mine.
Oh, I didn't really. Well, it's just a very crumbly texture. But none of mine would like hurt my tooth or anything.
I don't know. What do you think?
You cracking teeth?
I think so.
I'm going to give it a 3.75.
You got a big chunk in my tooth. Or it chipped my tooth. One or the other. I'm not sure.
You did get a hard piece.
I might have chipped my tooth right on screen right
Add
here.
the dentist to our list of funds.
Oh, I can feel that. Oh, we'll see. I guess I'll investigate after this segment here. But you're going what out of 5?
3.75.
3.75, very specific there.
Good.
I'm going to go a 3 out of 5. Just a straight 3 for me there. But it was way better than I imagined it to be. And I've heard the word Zagnut a million times. I think it was like in the Seinfeld episode even back in the day.
Oh, really?
But not bad. Not bad at all. It's a Hershey company, apparently. So that's interesting, too. But now the big daddy here, the Zero Bar King Size Edition.
God, can we just share with half? It's too big.
140 calories. We're going to see what this is all about here. And look at that. That's a big...
Oh, my God.
I don't know what to think about this. Very white. It looks like it almost has like a marshmallow shell on the outside there.
It's even got the little veining.
What the heck? You love a little veinage. Little veinage going on inside there. 140 calories, though. Oh, we're going to find out.
Cheers.
There it is. Let's see what all the fuss is about.
Very soft.
Caramel, white chocolate.
The white chocolate really overpowers it. Like, I'm not even like... All I can taste is the white chocolate. Oh my God, we're going to be so loud mouth noises. It's very, like... thick.
I don't know. I wouldn't get it again.
It's weird. The nougat is more almost like a
Milky Way.
Milky Way, which is weird. Not what I was expecting.
I didn't even get any peanuts in
It's
that
like
bite.
moussey.
I'm not sure there's actually peanuts in here. I don't see any. Haven't tasted any.
Oh my gosh. I don't even know if I can eat more. It's so filling.
Mm.
Oh wait, there's a nut.
Reminds me of Zero the Hero, the old Black Sabbath song, of course, Once Upon a Time.
You know what's weird? The nuts don't even crunch. So I just got a bite with a nut in it, and there isn't a...
You love crunchy nuts for
So
sure.
it's almost like that mousse like really breaks down the nut. Too rich.
Too rich for you.
Oh my God.
What are you giving it?
2.
I was going to go 2 as well. 2 on the Zero, 3 on the Zagnut. Zagnut, a big surprise right here. Who would have thought?
The white chocolate's just totally overpowering. You barely even notice this stuff inside. And I feel like I need the crunch because there's almost too much softness. Too much moussey.
Very, very strange. Very strange. But there it is. The Zagnut and the Zero. Would we ever get them again?
I can't even swallow it.
You've never had trouble swallowing it. You just put it down.
It's just so thick.
So thick as a brick, Jethro Tull style. But there it is. Zero and Zagnut. I don't think I would get them again. You?
Yeah. Maybe I tried another Zagnut in my life.
There you go. So there you have it. Zagnut
Not
and
if they're
Zero.
on Fifth Avenue. I mean, that's crazy.
No, of course, of course. But now it's time for story time with Kyle. All right, it's time for story time with Kyle, and this is the quickest ever story time with Kyle, and because this is follow-up from trying this no-good Zagnut bar and the Zero bar, especially this Zagnut bar. I'm all worked up. I did chip my tooth on the Zagnut. After we got finished, I was like, I'm going to go check and see, and I got a huge chunk of my tooth that just like broke off. Oh, these pearly whites. I'll never get a date again. What am I going to do?
They're so old.
Oh my gosh. And it like super sharp corner piece. That's what you get. You get that hard piece. You bite into it and it's all it took. The Zagnut did me in. So I'm redoing my score. I'm going from that 3-0. Negative 50. Negative 50 on the Zagnut. Zagnut blacklisted forever. I'll never eat another Zagnut. They're not allowed in the house anymore. Final decision.
How about the car?
What?
Are they allowed in the car?
No, we're not allowed anywhere. We're not allowed to spend any of my money I make on a Zagnut. Zagnut, I'm going to sue you for everything. You broke my tooth. Angie said it costs like $60 to get it fixed. So that's all I needed. Another expense going on here. So I guess we'll add that to the washer and dryer. We'll put that down with the tooth. Unbelievable. And now it's just like once you get like a little chip in your tooth,
your tongue won't stop going to
it
it.
won't stop going to
Nope.
it. It just, my tongue's just like directed to it. And you said, yeah, what
Hey,
the-
it's sharp too. You might get a little
yeah,
cut on your
it's
tongue.
super sharp.
You might bleed out. Oh, you might die this month after all.
Oh my God. This makes me,
Infection,
it makes me so mad.
sepsis.
I'm so mad. I'm so mad about this. I'm just so mad. Oh, it's just frustrating.
Well, now you join my club because I chipped my tooth.
And I chipped my front tooth when I was in second grade. I got tripped on the slide. And I went teeth first into the slide. And I got right up and I gave that guy a mouthful of my fist after he tripped me because I was mad. But it sucked, yeah. Man, these beautiful teeth. And now I got a chip in there. What are we doing?
Your dad spent so much on those teeth.
Man, I can't tell him. Nobody tell my dad. Nobody
My teeth
tell him.
were free.
Unbelievable. So now all the wind is out of my sails here. Angie, you got to carry on the show. You got to carry on. I'm out injured. I'm on the disabled list. Unbelievable. But it's time for story time with Kyle. This is where the real ones, they rise. No matter what's going on, they put on that friendly smile.
Oh, I thought this was story time with Kyle.
Well, it should be. I don't know. We'll save that for the future. But I'm not too happy about having a chipped tooth here live. Everybody got to see it. I can't wait to watch the video back where I bite into it and I immediately knew something was awry.
Slow motion, you like see it break off in your mouth. And you ate it.
Yeah, I ate my tooth on top of that.
It's probably going to rip your bowel coming out.
Oh, I can't wait. You'll have to check it later. Unbelievable. It's just, grunts. And then it's just the whole rigmarole of having to set the appointment, which you'll have to call.
You gotta get a shot.
Oh, and you'll have to call the appointment because I don't call in appointments. That's your job.
I'm gangster whenever I have my teeth done. I don't even get shots.
Yeah, she doesn't. You even have kids
I'm like,
without.
just drill it.
You don't even like take stuff when you're having a kid. You just, I don't need that epidural. I'll pass. I like. Anyways, yeah, you do like a little pain. I know you do like it. You're wild. I can't. You're uncontrollable. Nobody else could handle you. I know it. Nobody could. All right, it's time for.
You can't.
I can't. 100%. Story time with Kyle. All right, we're going to try to get past this. I'm going to try to, unless I bleed out and die here, but we'll see what happens. But we're going to talk about the time I met Hulk Hogan. And that was just recently. It was last fall on one of his Real American Beer Run tours there. He was at
that beer.
Yeah, it was all right for beer. You're
not a beer person.
No.
You actually drink.
It was all right. But the Hulkster was living that Hulkster life with the Real American Beer, and he was at a liquor store in Nebraska. So that's where I ended up meeting him there. And I said, you know what? I'm going to pop over there, go see what the Hulkster's. And it was free. He'll be stickier later, trust me.
From the candy bar.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay. But met the Hulkster there at the Real American thing. It was an interesting day. I think it was, I want to say it was either $30 or $50 you had to pay. Now, it was a free meet and greet, but if you paid the $30, you got a case of beer of the Real American, and then you got a second case that was autographed, I think is what it was.
Yep.
And they gave you like a 20-minute window to get your autograph. Like you didn't have to wait in line. You said, hey, be here with this 20-minute window. We're going to get you in. So I said, for that price, that is worth it. Because when I got there, the line was around the building. I mean, obviously a free meet and greet. And the Hulkster was only going to be there for an hour. And of course, Hulkster showed up about 30 minutes fashionably late. And I remember seeing the Hulkster there. You know, he was behind the store. You could see him. And a lot of people hadn't seen him yet. Man, it took everything inside of him to get out of that car. He had to put his arms on the guy to walk. I mean, he was in bad shape, you could tell. But the minute the crowd came around, or he came around the corner and saw the crowd started cheering. It was like he snaps back into it. It was just a wild thing. I remember that transition for him right there. So that was interesting to see. He brothered everybody up on his way in there, of course, then went inside, got in my waiting line there, and had my buddy Justin film it. Just a little bit. There wasn't much to film because it was just a quick in and out. But of course, me being an Ultimate Warrior guy, yeah, Angie knows what it's about. We'll do that after the show. It was just a quick little segment there, but I knew I wanted to make a moment of the Hulkster. Once again, I'm not a Hulk guy. I'm a Warrior guy. But of course, I wore my Iron Sheik shirt there, and he goes, oh, Sheiky baby, as I came up. He goes, oh, Sheiky baby. That's what he said to me as I was walking up. Put his hand out. I shook his hand. It was nice to shake his hand. And a lot of people commented, man, Kyle, you're way taller than I thought you were. Well, Hulkster not quite 6'7" anymore. I'm like probably 6'2" with the shoes on, maybe something like that. Hulkster and I are basically the same size after all of his back surgeries and everything else. But, I shook Hulkster's hand, gave him a nice handshake. He had a nice handshake on him there. It was
big
almost
hands. He's got big hands.
And everybody comments on the picture, and of course we'll put it up here, that Kyle, your hands are so small. Well, Hulkster's up here with his fist. My fist is back here. So it's some of that. It's not like I got these little baby hands.
Inception.
I got these big hands right here.
I got big hands.
You do got big hands, that's for sure. But the Hulkster, he said, hey, Sheiky baby. And I came in, gave him the handshake, and, I was kind of close to him, and I just said, never forget WrestleMania 6. And he just looked at me stunned, and then they took our picture, and I was off to the races. But he was, like, stunned by the WrestleMania 6 comment. But, of course, being a Warrior guy, I had to throw that in there. But once again, not a Hulkamaniac, but I'm very happy I got that picture. It was just a cool thing, and it was nice to make amends and shake his hand. After all these years...
He didn't know you needed to make amends.
He didn't know we needed to, but we did. And I did feel that day like, maybe the Hulkster's not so bad of a guy after. Maybe I'll cut him a little bit of break. And there's a lot of shtick that goes on with my videos and stuff about the Hulkster. Not my favorite. Once again, I'm not going to change any of that. But I said, you know what? It is cool. Yeah, I felt like meeting Hulk Hogan was very similar to like meeting Mr. T or another pop culture icon. It's just one of those cool things. You see Mr. T, you're going to get a picture with Mr. T. It's a cool part of the childhood and stuff like that. Hulk Hogan, a lot of the same way there. But I think it is cool that he did that Real American Beer Run tour. He went to all these grocery stores, liquor stores all over the United States. It was almost like the goodbye Hulkamania tour. So many people that wanted to meet him got to do it for free. There was no payment involved in any of that unless you did the thing I did. But the majority of them were just line up, get your picture, say hi to Hulk for free. That is a pretty cool thing. On his way out the door, passing away, he met the fan base that made him what he is one final time and did it for free. It wasn't like he charged him $400 to meet him. You got to just line up and wait in line, but you got to meet Hulk Hogan and you got to do it for free. Kind of a cool full circle moment right there. And I can barely talk with this chipped tooth, let me tell you.
It's because your tongue's trying to.
No, it's just driving me crazy. But Hulkster got his final revenge on me is what happened right here. Or I got the revenge of the Zagnut. Oh,
that's what you get for putting nuts in your mouth.
I know. I don't like those. I like cherries and stuff like that.
Now you know how I feel.
Yeah, I know. And you love it. Oh, but Hulkamania runs wild one last time. I don't know if it'll ever run wild again. I don't know if we'll ever see anything ever like Hulkamania again, for good or for bad, depending where you sit. But it was a moment in time, and we'll never see it again, Angie. Never will. Hulkamania ran wild one last time. But I was happy, like I said, I got to meet him at that beer event. And it's a cool picture that I'll have forever. And remember my quick interaction with one Hulk Hogan and Hulkamania all these years later. So interesting times with the Hulkster. Any final words on the Hulkster for you?
Do you ever get intimidated when you meet like famous people?
No.
I don't either. It's weird.
No, because they're going to forget who you are 10 seconds later. So it doesn't even really matter.
It's just like they're just like a person. I don't really like immortalize anybody.
You only me.
Yeah.
Yeah, only me. You're like, oh, daddy's home.
Especially when you meet them up close, then they look nice. That really humanizes them.
Yeah. So that's it. That's story time with Kyle. But Angie, now we got to sum it up here and we got to do a few final thoughts.
Okay.
Ready? Yep. All right, Angie, we're going to power through with some final thoughts here as I struggle with a chipped tooth. Oh my gosh, I'm down for the count. I can't believe I'm making it through this episode.
Oh my God. You're bleeding out. You're bleeding out.
Unbelievable. In the summer of Hawaiian shirts, I'm struggling here, but I power through. That's what you got to do in life. Sometimes you just got to put one foot in front of the other and just carry on. Even if you get a chipped tooth on a Zagnut bar.
We both just chipped a tooth on just
I'm not old.
Random food.
I'm not old. It was dangerous. That Zagnut bar was full of like concrete inside of it. It was dangerous. You be careful with those Zagnuts. Man, oh man. But Angie, we got some final thoughts, and we do have a question of the week that you're going to read. Angie, take it away. She's ready.
It's from a girl.
You were prepared?
Is this our first girl question?
Well, maybe not.
Hey, Angie and Kyle. I've been watching Kyle's YouTube videos with my hubby since the beginning. Love the addition of Angie every time we get to see and hear her. Also loving Kyle's dad. He's a doll. Question: how did you two meet? Apologies if this has been answered. I am getting started with the podcast. Love, Bethany.
And I probably explained that once somewhere, but not on this podcast. So I don't know. How did we meet, Angie?
How did we meet? I forget.
You take it away. You tell me how we met.
We met at a bar.
A dance club. A dance club bar. A party bar. Not my cup of tea, obviously, there. But if I remember correctly, that night I went out with a bunch of my buddies and we said, I don't think I was the one that said, let's go here. There was another bar, a sports bar across the street, which we used to frequent once we started dating. And they had like wing night on Thursdays. It was like all you could eat wings for like $5, and it was amazing. I still miss those wings to this day. That place was
weird. They used to bring in like pretty famous DJs like on special nights sometimes, and then there would be like celebrities that would come with them.
They had two.
Like Ashton Kutcher and Demi Moore were there one night.
That bar was different though because it was like half sports bar, half party bar, and I'd always stay on the sports bar side. So we go there, but it was a place. Was it called like Vucare or something? I don't even know what that means. Does that mean like dance or something? I
have no idea.
I don't know. But you were there with some friends, right?
Yes. And I didn't live in Des Moines. It was so random that we met. No, it was
random. So I remember I was there, and most of the dance club stuff says I'm not a dancer. I'm not a mover and a shaker like that. I wasn't cutting a rug.
Oh, I was shaking.
Angie was shaking all of it out there. She was just leaving it all on the floor. But do you remember the first time seeing me?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too.
I was just blinded by love.
She was. She just beelined it straight towards me, and I forget how
you were like a wallflower. You were just kind of like chilling there, too cool. And I love to like break people out of that kind of stuff. So I think I like went and grabbed you and tried to drag you on the dance floor because you were just sitting there like.
I think I was sitting back there probably with a Jack and Coke. I was like a young Lemmy Kilmister up at the bar looking for a casino, looking for a bandit to play. But I was standing there, and I remember you coming over to me, but I remember my buddy Scott, shout out to Scott, saying, oh, man, look at her. She's so hot. And I'm like, oh, yeah. And then, like, I think we talked and then turned around, and then there's Angie coming up to me, just pulling me up on the dance floor. And then she was off to the races from there. Angie had a few, I think, and she was partying hard and feeling good. It was a good time.
We've been together
ever since.
Like really inseparable ever since.
Yeah, and you made an impression on me on that dance floor. I'll never forget it. And I remember because you didn't live in this town, and obviously I lived in town, and you worked for like MCI or something, and they sent all their jobs overseas, and you got a severance. So you were just kind of hanging out with a friend and just kind of...
I had moved home and then...
home, bumming around, no real place to call your head, I guess. Yes. You were just kind of bumming around, living that young girl life there. Because you were probably 20...
I had just turned 21.
Just turned 21, and man, she was ready to party, and she did. And she did. So you were ready to party. And I remember being very smitten on that first night, as you can imagine, Angie. And I remember not having any like piece of paper. Did I even have a cell phone?
I didn't have a cell phone.
You didn't have a cell phone. And I fought getting a cell phone for a long time. I was like, I don't want people to get a hold of me. I don't want to talk to people. I don't want anybody getting a hold of me. But you didn't have a cell phone. That's what it was. And I said, well, how do we stay in communication? And you said you had your friend.
Well, I just had you giving me your number, basically.
So one thing I had
down old school.
Well, do you remember what I gave you?
Yes.
What did I give you?
Random picture of an old lady.
Yeah.
That was in your wallet.
So I used to have a random picture of just this old lady, like a little like like something you'd have in your wallet. It was just an old lady grandma, and I would be in there. If you opened my wallet, it was the first thing you saw, and it wasn't my grandma. I don't even know whose grandma it was or anything, but it was a heck of a conversation starter. And like ladies, when you're paying at the bar or something, like, oh, he loves his grandma so much, and I do, of course. But it was always a conversation starter. It was always pretty funny. I can't believe you gave it to me.
That was probably scary.
And I pulled that out, and that thing had been a luck charm for me for many years through college and stuff. I used that card a lot, but I'd never written on it or anything. It was always in there, and I said, here, and I got the pen from the bar, and I wrote my number on there, so you can call me. I wrote my name and number on there, and I said, you give me a call, and we will hook up again. And you did.
I called you a few hours later, actually.
Did you? I think you might have. You might have called me like
I texted you like in the middle of the night.
Yeah, you called me, and you said, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? We're going to come back to town, because you were staying at your friend's house. She was about 45 minutes away, and you said, hey, we're coming back tomorrow. We're going to another dance club. And I'm like, oh, boy. Oh, boy. And this was
it's funny how many dance clubs were in. There's like don't even exist anymore.
And this was like wintertime. This was November. And this was 2004 of November. And it was kind of cold out. But I remember, I'll go. I'll go to this dance club. We'll meet up. We'll do the thing there. And we weren't there long at that dance club. I remember that. We weren't there long. But we did meet up there, and I remember I'm like, I got to make a good impression with her. So I did bring out my Wrangler, my Jeep Wrangler, my yellow Wrangler. Oh, my baby I bought with one full year at the grocery store when I was a kid, just getting out of high school. I put every dollar I had to pay that one off, and it's lifted, it's beautiful, it's nice. And I'm like, if there's any way to impress this girl, it's going to be with my Wrangler. And did it work? It worked.
It worked.
It worked, obviously.
Honestly.
And now in a cruel twist of fate, you get to drive that Wrangler more than I do. Mm-hmm. I'm always in meetings and stuff. And you're like, oh, the kids and I are going cruising. I'm like,
that's my baby.
Oh, my gosh. But it is in more ways than one. We share it there. But we did meet up at that dance club and, of course, hung out there. And basically, we're never apart ever since then. Moved in the next day.
Since I was in between houses, we just moved in together.
And it worked out really well because at the time...
That's so crazy.
At the time, I just graduated college, and I was trying to find what I wanted to do. Like, I knew what I wanted to do, but I wasn't making any money. Remember, I'm making less money now than I made before I went to college. What's wrong with this picture? And trying to work my way up, and I ended up having a buddy that was in charge of cell phone place, and he ended up helping you get a job there. So we kind of got the in. And for many, I don't know, a couple of years there, Angie was the breadwinner in the relationship. She helped me buy. Of course you did. So, and it was nice. We both, it worked out because you needed a place to stay and you could help pay the rent and all that kind of fun stuff. And here we are some 20 plus years later, just living the dream, Angie. Just living the dream. And the dream just got really expensive, as we talked about at the beginning. And did I mention my chipped tooth yet?
Yes. Add it to the list.
Add it to the list of trouble. But it was a wild ride and still a ride I don't ever want to get off, Angie.
It's crazy. I worked for that job for like 15 years almost.
Yeah. And then
I stayed there forever.
Then you had kids. You kind of became a stay-at-home mom for the most part, just kind of ruling those kids, letting them do whatever they want, apparently. Who knows? But a wild time. But it was one of those chance meetings where it was just, I guess, love at first sight. It really was. So and here we are.
Did it.
Here we are, eating Zag nuts at a table.
Shipping tea.
Man, oh man, this tooth is never going to be right again. Never going to be right again. But thank you, Bethany Wade. It's nice to have female viewers for once. There's always a few out there, but it's a few and far between. But Angie, we did get some reviews this week. I'll read these here. We did get a couple of reviews. And of course, wherever you review on your podcast platform, make sure you put a 5-star review. Always helps the podcast here. Helps Angie, as we know. Chuck Arnold says, when I'm not watching reruns of Conspiracy Theory with Jesse Ventura, I'm spending time listening to the Kyle Peterson show. That's
basically your life. You're listening to yourself.
Unfortunately, the Jesse Ventura Conspiracy show has been taken off the air. They don't even show reruns. Like, the government got involved in that.
How is he watching it?
I don't know. That's Peterson with an O-N, not an E-N. And he's exactly right there. Those E-Ns get out of here. You're spelling your last name wrong. That's for sure. What is time, after all? I've been listening since episode 1, and the show is always learning, always improving. Is Kyle the Bread King or the Iowa Pizza King? We need story time with Kyle and Tales from Retail at every single episode to find out. They're both all-timer segments, playing all the human hits. I'll be using my 2 eyes, 2 ears, a head, and a mouth to continue to listen to every episode every week. See you later. Goodbye. So Chuck, playing all the hits right there. Just playing all of them. I don't know if he missed a hit there. We also got a review from Lord Nepathy, a fun show with two people who are just charming together. It covers chicken in a can, potato chips, lemon chicken woes, figures of the week, and takes a deep dive on exclusives. Highly entertaining every time. And then good friend of the channel, Spooky Tuesday, he says, my friends Todd McFarlane and Mark Summers both recommended this podcast to me, so I decided to give it a listen, and my God, I'm glad I did. The knowledge and humor provided by Kyle on each episode is unmatched. I will be a listener for life. Oh, look at that. Look at that. And then we're not done, Angie. Top Shelf Plastic. Kyle brings the heat every episode. Smart takes, deep knowledge, and a real love for the toy game. If you can't collect, this pod is essential. Can't miss. There you go. And then we got more. Star Screamer 81, Angie. Superb podcast. Love listening to this since the start of the year. And also Kyle's YouTube channel. Love his reviews and the comedy to match. Keep up the good work. I don't know what the reviews are going to say about this chipped tooth, man. If anything deserved a 5-star.
At least it wasn't in the front.
And then here's a good one for you here. It's Art B214. Kyle draws you in, but you stay for Angie. The Angie Peterson Show. So there you go, Angie. You got some fans out there. You got one or two. I got 2 big fans over here. The Kyle and Angie Show. I look forward to Tuesdays just to listen to the Kyle Peterson Show. If you haven't listened yet, what are you waiting for? Don't make Todd McFarlane touch you with his toes.
Ooh.
Go listen now. And his toes extra grimy, extra long toenails on that one right there. But that is some of the nice reviews we've got. So thank you to everybody that spent the time to put a review in there. We just truly appreciate it. It's truly appreciated that everybody that checks out the show and follows along with all of this. And this podcast went off the rails this week here. My tooth just derailed me and all my thoughts. I don't think we've
gotten back on rails since my Philadelphia trip.
No, we haven't. I'll get you back on the rail later, though. I'll tell you that much.
These bags are freaking me out. I keep thinking I cut my hair.
Did you tell everybody about that? Did we tell that story?
I said something last week, how I cut bangs, and I don't like them. But...
Yeah, she doesn't like her bangs, and that's a dangerous move there.
Oh, I'm eating my hair.
It's a dangerous move.
I was trying to be cool and have like those curtain bangs, but I don't know. I think I cut too much, or they won't blend or something. It's fine.
Well, do the drapes match the curtains?
Yes.
They do match?
Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect. Yeah, I don't know. I say if you're going to get a haircut, you really got to think about it. You really got to think about it. You can't just do it on a whim, especially when you got long hair like me and you. You know, it's 2 long hairs.
At least I didn't do a crazy chop. Like I didn't bob it or something. Mm-hmm. That would have been crazy.
Mm-hmm. Well, the summer of Hawaiian shirts carry on, Angie. I'll have some more Hawaiian shirts next week. And what do you think about a bikini for old time's sake next week?
forgot I'm covering my mic.
Oh, what do you think?
I'm basically wearing a bikini today.
Kinda, almost. Maybe next week we'll see what happens. But it's been a bit of a downer episode. I feel for all you Hulkamaniacs out there. I mean, I think somebody asked me if I cried. There was a lot of people that asked, Kyle, did you cry about it? I'm like, I didn't cry about it. I didn't cry about the Hulkster. I'm sorry, I did not.
You'll just cry when I die, probably.
That's about it. And I don't know. But, it didn't hit me as hard as it hit others. But I totally understand the significance. I understand how he was somebody's entire childhood. I get it. It's not lost on me for sure. But it just, unfortunately, wasn't my childhood. But it was yours. Probably somebody watching this. And I feel for you. So hopefully things get better. I don't know. Is that nice enough?
Yes.
That was nice enough. So there it is, Angie. This is what? Episode number 19 of the Kyle Peterson Show with Angie, too. Right. Angie, anything else you want to say to the people?
We're going to make it to 20 next week.
20 episodes on the way to 100, and that's where we quit. We drop everything. We'll see what happens there. But that is it, Angie. So what did we learn today?
Don't put them nuts in your mouth.
Yeah, you can, but don't be touching Zag nuts. I'd stay away from them. If you want chipped teeth, pick up a Zag nut. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't wish it on your best friend. Hulk Hogan passed away. We talked about the LJN Hogans. We talked about Hogan's audiobook. We did a little no holds barred discussion. We talked a little bit about Ozzy, a little bit of Ryan Sandberg, and we learned about how Angie and I came together.
It's a crazy story.
Crazy story. There it is. So for episode number 19 of the Kyle Peterson Show, Angie, tell everybody goodbye.
Goodbye.
Well, are we going to dance or are we going to play?